Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another tournament series presented by ESOC TV. This is the round of 32 of the ESOC Stay-at-Home Competition 2020. This is between PrinceofKabul and Luke Tom. The first map for us today is, oh my god, we're missing the coin mine topside. And second, neutral. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a massive coin advantage. Maybe a false start. Otherwise, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's also maybe missing a fourth. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Alright, quick rehost. Let's go. Well, luckily I checked the map before going on a full-on introduction, because that would have been pretty embarrassing. But if Kirk is later doing the YouTube processing, hopefully he skips this part. Otherwise, we're going to be look very confused on YouTube when we're going back through. Observer mode recorded game, Hudson-based summer. We are set and ready to go for this one once again. Oh wow, that's an interesting spawn. 1, 1, 1, 2. It's 3 nearby. 1, 2. That's neutral. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. That's a funky spawn, but it's balanced enough for me to take this. This should really be spawning up here, but it has spawns, and that's as good as we're gonna get it. The other hunts and mines in the middle of the map are neutral territory, so less considerations given to those, but both players having 3 mines and 3 hunts. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for the round of 32 action of ESOC Stay-at-Home Competition 2020. The matchup for you guys today, PrinceofKabul taking on Luke Tom, and just a forward, we're in for a very, very fun series. Quite a lot of water maps are present in this series. Expect Indonesia, expect Ceylon, and expect Guatemala. Courtesy of some ESOC admins. Bit of controversy. We like a bit of controversy around ESOC tournaments and games, but it just builds the anticipation and excitement of this series. Both players are currently loading into the game. I'm here already in the game. I think it's PrinceofKabul who takes a bit of time to get into the game, but once the game's sorted, we should be good to go to carry on. We see Luke Tom spawning in the right hand side of the map, pardon me, in the colour purple, playing as the British civilization. His opponent, PrinceofKabul, spawning on the left hand side of the map in the colour blue as the German civilization. German versus Brits on Hudson-based summer. Hudson-based summer is the opening map of the round of 32 for all matchups, so a nice varied map to kick us off underway. Plenty of land opportunities. There is sea to the north side with islands in the middle. A 4 TP stagecoach, or trading line should I say, runs through the middle/southern side of the map. Crate start today, just a single wood crate start for Germany, and looking by other crates as well, it looks to be a single food crate on offering for both players. Who do I think this favours? I would have to say it's going to favour the British. Simply because the Germans, they've really liked that secondary wood crates to help them get that early TP play. But PrinceofKabul currently working on 120 coin treasure. Won't be going for an early market though. So this 120 coin treasure will sit idle for quite a while. But that's okay though, it's just getting out the map, getting a bit of early experience from the kills. Doing some good kiting action. Crack shots has been used up, I believe, already on one of the wolves, and so is having to kite the second and the third wolf. Not ideal there, but he's going to commit and go for this treasure's take. Luke Tom, on the other hand, 120 food, I believe that's 2 polar bears, so that's a really good effort to take down 2 polar bears and only losing 20 HP. Luke is, or should I say, it is Luke. I'm calling him Luke, but he's not Luke, he's called Tom. I'm just going to call him Tom. Hey, look, it's Tom. Tom's here. He runs past a 70 food treasure, already picking up 120 food treasure. Now looking at 70, that's nearly 200 food worth of treasures already. That is nothing to scoff at. That's really nice age 1 so far. 3 settlers do come in as well. 215. PrinceofKabul's nearby, and Luke's backing off actually. He does get the treasure reset, and I think Tom does have the crack shot available, so he's just going to move back in and go for the crack shots. Especially because he kited the first Guardian. Crack shot comes in. 70 food for for Tom. Oh my god, this Luke is going to get me annoying. But it is Tom. I'm just going to say Tom from now on. 200 food in the treasures and already having 800 food. Looks like that Tom's going to age up with 17 vills still. That's absolutely fine. What this does mean is that Tom will be transitioning villagers onto the woods a lot sooner than you'd expect. Does get 100 food in the bank ready for that first villager being trained in the second age, and all the villagers already going on to woods. So a good start here from Tom. No idle time. Very strong age 1. Prince, on the other hand, he's picked up some small treasures, 40 food, 40 XP, and 110 coin on the side. That was that big treasure down to the southern side. He hasn't seen too many other treasures yet. Surely he's seen this 100 wood treasure by 2 polar bears, but both explorers are kind of dancing their way around this big treasure. Tom spends his time on 75 food, more food for the British player, and is actually going to make his way over to 100 wood. Prince knows about the treasure. He might go for it, but you can see his explorer is busy building a trading post, and Tom might actually make the use of this window he's been given. High HP, crack shot coming in, and he's just going to take this polar bear mano a mano and try and trade off HP for getting this treasure early as possible. And that would really help the British players' mana boom behind this. And the faster you get the manor houses down, the faster the villagers, and the more of a positive reinforcement it has on your early economy. Oh, treasure contention! Prince has built the TP. He's back on the polar bear. And the fact that he's actually taking shots on Tom's explorer and still taking this polar bear is on decent HP, 37. Tom's down to... Oh, he's aged up, so he's got enough HP. I think Tom's got it. Let's confirm. Luke Tom has picked up 100 wood. And that age up has come in at the right, just about the right time. Otherwise, he would be, unfortunately, taking a nap in the fields of the Hudson Bay at this point if he didn't have that extra HP bonus. Let me turn down the sensitivity while we're in a period of calm. I don't like casting with a high sensitivity. It's my playing speed. But it's a little bit easier to cast and move around the field when the camera moves at this pace. In-base barracks coming out for PrinceofKabul. 2 Ulans moving across the field. Tom has aged up to the second age, sent in 700 wood first shipment. Opening up with a stable versus Germany. So Germans going for the barracks instead of a stable. The British is going for the stable instead of the barracks. Not what we usually expect here. And I assume Hussars are in queue. 2 Hussars in queue. Prince is going for pikemen as well. And 2 Hussar pop coming out from Tom. Not the greatest, but 2 Hussars will be enough to scale his 2 Ulans. But he's just really giving away to Prince what his intentions are. Defensive tap, centre and outpost. Very nice to see. Oh, Ulans stopping, but they managed to get out of the way. Forces some villager idle time. But more importantly, gets game information of what Tom's strategy is. And these pikemen, well, pikemen and crossbows. Is this a double barracks I've seen? Where do those bows come from? Nope, just a single barracks, but quite a few units on the field already from PrinceofKabul. These pikemen will do very well versus the Hussars. Prince is currently waiting outside Tom's base. He does have 4 Uhlans from the shipments he's received so far. Handful of crossbows and pikemen also moving into the base. Only cavalry for Tom at the moment, but he now has a barracks down training 3 hussars, 2 musketeers. No villagers right now, but he's investing his eco lead purely into military instead of villager production. I think Tom really wants to get a batch of 5 musketeers, 5 hussars. 5 hussars do train from the stable, and he does have the resources for a 3rd musketeer and soon to be 4th. I'm unsure when that batch is about to be completed, but those hussars will have to move in. 4 musketeers do train. This could be time for Minutemen as well. He does have resources. Minutemen being called. Looks like Minutemen are going to move forward. Hussars to snare. Musketeers to come in close as well. And this could be a really good pickup from Tom. He does need to try and keep this army around and squeeze every use of value from these Minutemen. You see pikemen moving forward to try and fight the hussars, but hussars can tank the pikes long enough for the musketeers and Minutemen to absolutely shoot them down, to be honest. And those pikemen have fallen very quickly, exposing a naked mass of crossbowmen behind. And Tom's hussars are showing their supremacy over these crossbowmen. You know, these crossbows can fire bolts, but unfortunately they usually miss their horses. Not very good versus cavalry. Tom has the eco lead, has the military initiative, and another batch of crossbows and pikes. This is, I think Tom's very happy to see this, but he needs to back off now. Quite a few pikemen on the field, and we'll move on from here. Prince of Kabul sending 700 wood, 600 wood. 2nd barracks has come out and has used his wood shipments to fund his military production. A double batch of pikemen is a interesting choice. Double batch of pikes is very good to protect a large crossbow mass from cavalry, but you don't actually have that many crossbowmen out on the field. And when Tom is playing the British civilization with their musketeers, musketeers trade very well versus pikemen, and they also, they do well versus crossbows. So a pure musketeer mass from Tom is going to do quite well versus what Prince has got. And I feel that Prince of Kabul has essentially overmade these pikemen. Very specific counters to cavalry. Apart from that, not very useful in this composition. $700 coin does come in from Tom behind this. He does have villagers on the top side gathering from his hunt, so he has a nice steady food income. A couple villagers on the front hand side being pressured by the crossbows, but has a decent mass of military behind this. Look at these musketeers. He has a equal military population roughly to what Germany has, but Uhlans aren't exactly the strongest units in the Second Age, and most of these pikemen, well, they're 1 population each, but I'd rather have 20 musketeers and 20 pikemen. And the hussars going to move topside. Musketeers, the infantry going to move around. More hussars coming in. Prince is going to go for the barracks, but he's actually being pulled into this fight now. Hussars pulling back away from the Uhlans and pikemen. Musketeers charging in. Crossbows are standing and fighting, which is what they're good at. But now this hussar flank's come around to the left-hand side. All the pikes and Uhlans top side, close enough to the musketeers to take damage. And Prince is properly cornered in and trapped in Tom's base. This could be a perfect opportunity for a 6 bow shipment if it's on the way. 6 longbows. Does have 1 hussar training, but his musketeers in close combat. This must be a great fight for them so far. Military population slightly Germany favoured, but that's because of this reinforcements coming in. But musketeers and hussars on pure expos. No town centre fire. We'd like a bit of town centre fire here. But 5 hussars are about to pop. This is going to be absolutely huge. And there they go. 5 hussars on top of the crossbows. They're trapped. They're going down. And what were the reinforcements we saw? More crossbows. Not what Prince needed. And he's basically going to sacrifice his entire military force in Tom's base. And a good defense from Tom has come out. You can see after that engagement, Prince has decided that he no longer wants to take this H2 fight, and he is retreating back to his base. Does send 700 coin. Both players are dropping down an outpost, so outposts of Prince of Kabul forward on the map. Outposts from Tom, or should I say Tom, at the same position, really mirrored. We don't often see this, but it's really nice to see players utilising defensive buildings like the outpost to secure extra resources. Because look at Prince's base, he's running out of hunt pretty quickly, and he's killed all these moose to the top side, but he's not getting efficient gathering on these units. Path blocking and, you know, close to the shore doesn't help, but one villager gathering from one moose, over time that could cost him about maybe 80, 100 food. Certainly significant. Right, Musketeers pushing forward, double carded here, Musk HP, Musk attack, Pikemen no upgrades, 3 Doppels were sent for Prince of Kabul, but that is not an upgrade card, so these Doppels really need to do something magnificent here, but I'm afraid that they won't really do that great versus pure Musketeers. Musketeers still in range combat versus Doppels, which is what you want. Hussars moving around, baiting all these heavy infantry units, and the units which were fighting Tom's army have already fallen down. Prince does have the military advantage for the time being, but the in terms of unit population, but the strength still belongs to Tom and his stronger Musketeer forces. These pikemen are kind of awkwardly just sat at the back lines. They don't know whether to push forward or sit back. And Tom's eco is slightly better than Prince's, but having said that, it has evened up. Looking at units lost, Tom has lost 4 villagers, which is fair enough given the German aggression, and now that Tom's on his forward resources. 130 mana pop. He does have room for extra villagers from the British civilization bonus from the manors, which we will get a few extra now. So another 2 villagers on the field, just further pushing up that eco advantage. Good upgrades here. Steel traps, placer mines. No great coats just yet, all gang saw. We do see that Tom's chopping quite a lot, but Prince is chopping a lot of wood. He has log flume as well. That's quite impressive. Usually players may only get gang saw and kind of neglect the second wood tier upgrade, but Prince's villagers really upgraded at the moment. 5 Uhlans, next card for Prince of Kabul. These Uhlans being sent down to the southern side on raiding duties. To send a 5 Uhlan shipment just to raid your opponent, you're going to need to get villager kills, else it is a wasted shipment. Tom now sends in cavalry attack, so just upgrading his units and just playing for the long game. Probably has another batch of Hussars on the queue, and Tom's just going to go pure Musketeer Hussar colonial play, and I think over time he's just going to overpower the German army due to the lack of German upgrades in the Second Age. Right, here comes the raid from the Uhlans. These villagers, no greatcoats. This is where it's actually starting to pay off. Not garrisoned in the outpost. Will take a bit of time to recognise that he's been raided, but also a big fight at the moment. Pikemen moving forward to counter the Hussars, but getting picked off by the Musketeers. Military population's pretty even, but the raid is still going on. More villagers going down, not being reacted to by Luke Tom just yet. And he's still not realising he's been raided. Maybe he actually sees that the Uhlans away from the fight is an opportunity to crush this expo mass. But he's now sacrificed his eco lead. The Germans now 10 population ahead in the village department for eco, but there are 3 Hussars and crossbows and Musketeers nearby to get some good damage. Those Uhlans now moved on to villagers away from the outpost. This is absolutely dire from Tom. He's losing many villagers, and only the reinforcement Musketeers are here to defend himself. "19 villagers from Tom has now gone down, so I've never seen a 5 Uhlan shipment be as more impactful as that shipment has been just there. That was really well executed from Prince of Kabul, and to be honest, I have to call it really lucky from Prince as well that Tom was unable to manage both his army and his eco at the same time, because a lot of vills went down rather unnecessarily there. Crossbowmen retreating towards the German base. Minutemen is available for Prince of Kabul at the moment. These Musketeers are very strong though, double carded. Hussars do have the single card as well. 600 coin now sent to Prince of Kabul at his forward outpost. So Uhlans are nearby, but they're going for their own raid themselves. And after, Tom losing most of his eco, or a sizable portion, he's still looking pretty strong with these strong Musketeers. You can't argue Musketeers with plus 15% HP and attack versus archaic infantry of the crossbowmen and pikemen, and there 3 Expos go down very, very quickly. Another batch of fire picks off some more units. You know, Musketeers do go down as well, and Tom stealing the coin as well. What a play from Tom, stealing opponent's coin underneath the tower, literally now forcing the engagement for Prince. Prince wants to punish this, but he has to go through the British army first. And pikemen are in defensive mode, cover mode, but 5 more hussars coming at the right time, and 6-7 pikes are enough to defend, but it just draws the musketeer fire. Close game so far in game number 1. Oh, these villagers, they're just getting so much coin. This is so good to see. Such a good play from Tom, and you need to be careful when sending crate shipments, just not send them forward. Another outpost was built from Tom in the middle of the map. I really like this position of this outpost, and in a map where you're continuously trading off units, an outpost has much more longevity than a single crossbowman or a pikeman, and if you had 2 or 3 outposts around here, you kind of really zone off the map for your opponents. You see he's pushed under this outpost, but just imagine if the entire British forces were pushed on the right hand side, taking pot shots behind the crossbowman's back. That would be really effective. Sacrificing the outpost without engaging from the side feels slightly bad, but I suppose it's given Tom a little bit more time to train more musketeers hussars. But you need to remember, he is currently down in eco, and when you're down in eco, you don't really have time. It's your opponent will outscale, and the military population for Prince is still slightly larger than it is for Tom. Pikemen being caught up with the musketeers. These pikemen are getting picked off, and these are the only anti-cavalry forces present in this little batch of units for Prince of Kabul. Tom does have about 8 hussars nearby, but he has cavalry attack, and it's one of those things it's worth mentioning. The stronger cavalry card in the second age is usually cavalry HP, and the reason for that is, hussars have high HP stats, and 15% on HP is just much more important than an extra 4 hand attack per swing. And when you're getting picked off by pikemen very, very quickly, these hussars haven't actually really engaged the crossbowmen before they're picked off, so the HP would have been very useful there. The attack not so much, and has now forced, as a result, Tom has been forced back, and I think Prince is starting to take the initiative. So we saw Prince of Kabul dropping down a dock, training 2 boats. Tom, in response, sending the 2 caravel shipment, but joke's on him. That caravel shipment is essentially a greater investment of resources than it is a single dock and 2 boats. Prince now sending Eco Theory, giving a further boost to his 44 land villager eco, which has some pretty strong upgrades as well. Prince is going to scale a little bit harder. Tom could go for the water control now. He does have that option. He's cleared up the sea for himself and can feel confident now of dropping his own dock. But he's dropping a wall. He feels he's on the back foot, and the only resources in the wall are, well, trees, and trees mean boats and docks. So that is Tom's plan now. Drop a couple of docks, fish in boats, gather from the sea. Warships are covering or preventing Prince from actually dropping his own dock. And we never saw the decks from the players. Let's have a very quick look now. Prince of Kabul, no shipments present from himself. Tom, he does have a semi-water deck. Schooners and the 2 caravels give him options in the second age. And he's already sent those 2 caravels. Tom does type the GG, and that push from Prince didn't look that special, just pushing a few crossbows and pikes, but we need to realise that Tom was essentially out. That's so sad. Sound bug being raided. And in a tournament match, that's such a shame to hear. But that's yeah, I think Prince has realised that, because that was an OP raid and a non-characteristic raid from Tom, or from any player really. You would realise when you're losing about 15-20 vills, so that's really unfortunate to see. And then as a result, really, Prince, having the greater eco, could mass more of these cheap archaic infantry units, and when he did push Tom was out of natural resources, starting to transition into docks and boat production. 700 wood present, but no food or coin, no coin mines, just a mill being pushed off of, and unfortunately Tom just ran out of ways to kind of come back into this game. Prince, though, was taking a second TP, pushing out the map, access to the coin mine, well, not this coin mine, but he still had coin present. I think it was possibly looking to age behind this, did have 1300 coin present. So game 1 going to PrinceofKabul in a not very convincing manner, and that's not the greatest reassurance for Prince, as the rest of these games and series will be played on a non-standard map. The map pools for both players in this rare occurrence is ESOC Guatemala, ESOC Indonesia, and ESOC Ceylon. Right, let's have a quick look at the post game. You can see that villager raid 45 going down to 32. That was that villagers right underneath the town, the outpost. These extra villagers down here were near the were further afield, so this was understandable. But this raid was just unfortunate to see, and you wouldn't want to put all this practice in for a tournament game for that to happen. So that is pretty unfortunate for Luke Tom. But I'm sure he will be able to bounce back and give Prince a run for his money on these very non-standard maps coming up. Yeah, military population is back and forth throughout, and Tom really had the military advantage throughout the entire game. Strong units, better composition, but as the game went on, that eco deficit just grew and grew. Prince was able to remass much more continuously, and at that point, as the game went on, could just raid with Ulans instead of had to use them in the fight themselves, and that basically gave him that lead that he needed to go for, and just that military deficit just grew 48 to 15 during that final push, and 3-1 advantage. You don't often lose those, and was able to move into the town and pull off the victory there and then. Right, let's hop out into the next game. So, how this series works, PrinceofKabul did win the game, and so it's on for Luke Tom to pick the map and pick... No, it's Luke Tom to pick the map first. So we need to see what the maps comes out, and as PrinceofKabul won the previous game, it's a winner's picked first. PrinceofKabul will be picking his civilization first. I will take a quick 1 minute break. If we do hear another person join the chat, Riot has said he will hop in for a co-cast with me, so Riot will be joining us for game number 2, and looks like Luke has already picked Ceylon, so we're going to see some fun water play on Ceylon. I'm looking forward to this one, but I'll be right back.
Yes.
Right, I am back, and it appears that Wright has joined us. So, good afternoon, Wright. And how did you enjoy Game One? And more importantly, are you looking forward to some action on Ceylon?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for asking. I hope you're doing well yourself. Yeah, that first game was interesting. I mean, Luke Tom, I think, was in the lead quite significantly. But obviously that raid sort of killed him. And Ceylon is interesting. Luke Tom picking Ottoman versus Portugal, which I don't think is the best pick, especially seeing as he's not the TP line. But you do get an earlier shipment in the map, I think.
Yeah, that's a very interesting point you brought out straight away. We'll just quickly just turn Discord up, or just turn my generic volume up so that you appear louder on the stream. Ceylon, you start off with a bonus shipment straight away, and when you play the game, if you don't realise, you might be looking at your home city after about a minute and a half, 2 minutes, and thinking, "Oh, I've got 2 shipments. Where does this come from?" So hopefully players can utilise that in Age 1. The matchup here, Portuguese versus Ottomans. Looks like PrinceofKabul picked first because it's Luke Tom's map and Prince won last game. Luke Tom, or Look. Oh, I think we both have the same problem with Luke Tom. We always say Luke for some reason, but no, it's called Tom, and for some reason he has a look in front of it. So
Call him Tom, I think, is the easiest thing to do, isn't it?
yeah, I'm trying to call him Tom, but that tasty look, it's just tantalising. It's in front of his name. Has countered the Ottomans, and we'll see what Tom's got plans.
So yeah, Luke Tom known for sort of double Jan rushing, double barracks Jan rushing, which you can't really do on this map.
I know. I'm glad you brought that up. Did you see the picture on ESOC?
I haven't actually seen the picture on ESOC. But...
Oh, there's a forum thread where somebody's talking about this map and took a picture of Tom type in GG resign at 6 minutes, double barracks Jan rush on the center island, but the other player was still on their home islands. Boat built booming, just going, "Ah, you got the big islands? Oh, well, sure, go for it. Whatever, I don't mind."
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, actually, to be honest, Ottoman versus Ports isn't an awful matchup for Ottoman. I don't know what the native TPs on this map. You don't really see it too often, so I guess that's the thing. You can actually rush a bit with Orangutan, or whatever his name is, from the little boat you spawn with. But what are they actually? They're Zen temples, and Zen temple actually is not too bad. So is the Bhakti temple actually. So two nice natives at least to pick up.
Yeah, so a couple of things you've already mentioned there. The orangutans and the catamarans cost 190 food, I believe. They're very expensive for what they are, so unless you have a very specific window of opportunity to use them, I would probably stay away from that option. The Bhakti Temple gives you a tactical option to go for the berry upgrade and significantly enhance your berry gathering from the 6 berries you have on your starting island, so a lot of food at home. But it's not the preferred strategy because this is a water map. There's so much food in the sea and ocean, and that's where we're likely to see quite a lot of the action.
A lot of whales as well. Oh, 36. What?
I think Tom has a mouse issue where
okay.
You could go to the shop and buy a new mouse, but it looks like Tom's going to stick with his trusty favourite mouse, and I suppose actually, changing equipment before, I mean, it's only it's only a community tournament this is, but even still, I guess Tom likes his own equipment.
You sure he's not a great scythe where he has a mouse issue whenever he doesn't get the wood start?
No,
which actually Tom hasn't got. He hasn't got a wood start.
No. Great Scythe is a legend of Age of Empires 3. I will have nobody bad-mouthing the magnificent Great Scythe on ESOC stream, please.
Oh no, actually it is a wood start. But the woodcut is just spawned next to a wood treasure, so it looks like the same thing. So that's pretty funny.
Oh, where's that? Oh wow! Oh
So if
wow!
you look on, they just spawn next to each other and look like the same thing.
That's kind of cool actually to see.
But actually, yeah, I mean, Auto is quite good. Galleys are actually particularly good, I think, compared to caravels, if I recall correctly. And you also have some nice shipments as Ottoman for water. You do have that catamaran, as I said. You can not only orangutans, I think you can spawn the I think it's fuggies or
Oh no, I think
dacoits.
it's dacoits because it's dacoit man on the
Well,
Malafan
it is,
there.
yeah. So he produces more of himself somehow. But I don't think we'll see any of that happening. But look, Tom readying up, and it should be quite interesting because this isn't a map we see very often.
I actually played a fun game versus Migo yesterday, and it's one of those games you start off, you have a plan, but 5 minutes later, and things are starting to kind of progress in the game, you kind of just get a bit overwhelmed of the potential options you have. Do you move all your villagers to the islands? Do you build defensive outposts right next to your opponent's islands but on the shore? Do you stay on the shore and gather all the berries and coin and age up, get the tech? Do you go for full boat boom? Do you go aggressive warships? There's lots of ways to play the map, and I think that's why this map is exciting to watch, but quite terrifying to play on because you just don't really know what the meta is and what your optimum strategy to give you the best chance of winning will be.
Yeah. Luke Tom's deck actually pretty standard. Doesn't have a fort in there. I think actually a fort on this map is possibly one of the best shipments you can actually get in the game. I think. Because you just stick it on the island, it gives you so much control over the sea and whatever. He Luke Tom at the moment is taking down a treasure. I wouldn't look at the explorer's name, Harrison. I know you've already said about it.
Luckily, I haven't. So thanks for scouting that one.
Name. Princess is fine to look at though, but Prince actually going for the same sort of treasure, 145 wood. 145 wood is actually an incredible treasure. Although there might be a bit of a contention here. No contention, but both picking up the treasures at the same time.
Yeah, 100 XP for the Ottoman is quite nice. Both players started off a shipment already. Let us see on the shipment sent. Have they already sent their first Age 1 shipment? And both players, 3 vills for Luke Tom at 1 minute. PrinceofKabul, schooners, 50 seconds. I think that actually just benefits the Ottoman player. Just get that shipment in straight away for such an early age up. He's going to age up about 2 minutes or 2 minutes 10 seconds. And well, look at that food count. You can clicking up to age up at 2 minutes. That is maybe that's why Tom has played the Ottomans on Ceylon.
So yeah, aging up at 2 minutes, but at the same time, actually about 145 wood has allowed Prince to get a dock up actually really early, and with schooners in there, he's going to start pumping out fishing boats already, and just boosting his economy basically really early. Bit of a treasure contention here with 75 food between actually there's no treasure contention. Prince got it quite easily. He is snared though, which is quite important. You won't be able to get a TP down. Looked on pausing.
He needs to reflect on the opening 2 minutes and 37 seconds.
Yeah, he needs to know what he's doing. Apparently he's changing his mouse. Maybe he'll say sec bar or something in a second. Age of Killer in the chat, I see. Who probably will tell us a bit more about Ceylon, seeing as he is probably the best water player who's not banned at the moment.
I've got to say, that's the fastest mouse change I've ever seen. I'm surprised that instant taunt 11 there. Wow. Luke Tom, the magic of the mouse change.
Yeah, it's pretty quick actually, isn't it? It's instantaneous.
Have you seen Tom's deck? 600 food makes an appearance over the second factory shipments.
And over 600 coin as well. And I mean, yeah. He's got 9 Mantuan now as well versus ports, which is interesting, I guess. I like what Prince is doing here, utilizing that Marathon catamaran to actually take down that Ottoman explorer, taking some damage off of that. Although Luke's catamaran is also coming here. Are they still bugged? No, they're not bugged. They've been fixed. So these catamarans used to do their siege, their ranged attack versus each other instead of their siege attack. Which was 8 damage. But it's been changed so they do a siege attack. So
I was about to say that would be quite fun to watch these two pirates shooting each other. It literally would be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, but they would be shooting each other for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes, just repeatedly. Prince going down with a market, getting that dock, as I said. Is there a dock going down at all from Luke? No, Luke's not even going. He hasn't even sent schooners. Double barracks on his base.
So I was about to say, like, you could basically bypass the main islands and play this as maybe an Age of Mythology Vinland Saga type map, and actually pressure your opponent's home islands. Prince is a very strong player, and I wouldn't be surprised he's actually going to move that town centre via a fishing boat to the main islands, which is great for map control, but you kind of actually leave yourself open for a Jan rush on your main town centre, as weird as that sounds. And that actually, these islands are big enough that the infantry can get onto the islands underneath the town centre and kind of stay away from any warships. So this is actually a bit of a risky kind of situation for Prince, which he doesn't really know about, and is unfolding. Tom's first shipment, 700 food. Oh my god. It's coming. It's coming.
Classic Jan rush. Asia 400 would, of course. Does scout the town centre on the other side. Does have CM in deck, Prince. And actually, one thing you can do here is if Prince somehow shipped 2 caravels next, his Jan rush would be dead instantaneously. But if he sent 2 caravels next and then sent CM, but 2 galleys coming in, are they going to take down that town centre?
He's not using the special attack.
I know. I think he's keeping it. So in case of 2 galleons spawning, not galleons, 2 caravels spawning, is that town centre going to go down? I don't actually know. This is quite risky from Luke Tom. Although he's put the Janissaries on land, so it's going to go down.
I mean, okay, so yeah, that town centre might go down, but now he's going to lose the 2 caravel, 2 galley fight just due to the town centre and proximity. Double shot comes off onto the caravel. The caravels are late to fight. Only this caravel starts fighting now, but it's gone down. Galley 25 HP, and these Janissaries are stuck on the island. Minutemen do cool, but all the villagers from PrinceofKabul are safely on the main island, and the dock boom is starting to go behind this. And this is very similar to the screenshot I saw from Luke Tom, or somebody posting about Luke Tom. A Jan rush to the main islands, great, but what are you going to do? You don't have a dock to really repair your galley, and he's going to move Janissaries on a 25 HP galley. This is risky.
He's put it in the castle rounds, so we can at least get 1 hit. Is he going to be able to get away with it, though?
No, he's not. He's not.
Oh, I don't know. Oh, there's two of these left. Prince trained one.
Oh, he's gone down! He's gone down!
What was that, 15 Janissaries? He's lost 17 Janissaries. There's 6 Minutemen, a caravel in the town centre. This is, yeah, he just resigned.
Oh! Oh.
I don't understand what happened. Why would you double Jan rush on Ceylon? Or even then put the barracks on the island, not on your like mini island where it just gets stuck there.
Oh, Prince of
when shot my
Tom saying the phrase, "Oh yeah, you got lucky." But okay, even if he did land 13 Janissaries on the island, you'd still have the 2 caravels shooting at the Janissaries, taking down the catamaran and the galley for free because on such low HP. And you leave 10 Janissaries or 5 Janissaries on the main islands just standing guarding some berries.
Yeah. And then when Prince just ships 8 crossbow, calls Minutemen and wins. Like, this is never gonna work.
Oh. Quality action brought to you by ESOC TV. What can I say? This is some high level gameplay, losing your Jan rush in a boat.
Well, they could play Ceylon again. Because it's in Prince's lap, so if Luke Tom wins, Prince can choose it again and do the same thing again.
Oh, I'm waiting for the chat to catch up. Somebody has typed in Tom God, but I don't think that's actually got to the point of the boat going down. Comet K with the ESOC bottos continuously spamming, but once they see those Jans going down, oh, it's going to light up. And you probably could see the post game. Look at the military population. Oh, what's happened to these 20 unit military populations going down to 7 all of a sudden?
Honestly, but I felt like because he got that first town center down, he could have actually, if he just built a dock, trained sort of 2 caravels, mass janissaries, I mean, he could have done something and maybe won the game. He got quite a good trade there with the 2 galleys for the town center and well, a caravel as well. But yeah, just blindly going for a janissary rush on a map which is reliant on water. And obviously janissaries aren't they're not Jesus, they can't walk on water themselves. So yeah, I don't think it was the best idea.
In all seriousness, I think one of the problems that Ottoman have is that the galleys, they expend HP for speed and attack. They only have 600 HP, so they are quite weak to build-in fire. Like build-ins really counter those units in particular. And the fact that those 2 galleys were trying to take down the second town centre but lost a bit of HP to those 2 town centres when the galleys came in just kind of put him in a poor situation. But if he did move across the sea with 2 full HP galleys, this would have worked.
Yeah, I think it would have worked. Maybe land on the main island instead of the second island, and sort of not got caught out by the 2 caravels, or even made a dock and made another an extra galleon himself. Galley himself, it would have worked. But Luke Tom asking for maps. He does have, I think, Yalu River and Zavkhan or something ridiculous.
I think it's Indonesia and
Or Guatemala. Guatemala's not a terrible map. You can double Jan Rush on that if you want to. It does also have a really cool Aztec trading post, which are actually bugged, where they don't get buffed by cards for some reason. As I tried that yesterday, but
well, I think those Aztec Nilla ones are pretty terrible anyway. Like, they've always been bad, and their upgrades as well are pretty poor. So it's not like oh my god, this is an amazing map because these natives. It's like, oh, this is an amazing map, but there are some natives taking space on the map which you could wall around.
Yeah, the what's also funny about them is the upgrade to them. Like the veterancy upgrade costs like 600 coins, 600 wood. For
no reason. Hold up. I have full respect for every player in the community, but Luke Tom is back in chat saying he's really get lucky when he shot on a catamaran, his TC's down, and just moved water with 700 wood and GG. If only my games were as easy as that. Have a plan, going through them in your mind, and then you just won it. Great, but.
Yeah, you win when you green up. Obviously, look, Tom has just got incredibly unlucky with the last game. I think that's what happened there. But
he was outplaying Prince really hard there.
Yeah, I've never actually seen such amazing Ottoman play in my eyes. But yeah, Guatemala, as I said, is a land map. Prince can't play. I think Portugal and is it Germany? He can't play.
Yeah,
he's gonna play Japan anyway. Japan's really good on Guatemala.
So ESOC Guatemala was a map made by Dansil92 or Dansil29, one of the two. I think it's 92.
I think it's 91, isn't it?
I don't know. I think there's a 2 in there somewhere. I think it's 90. I think it's 92.
Oh, it's 92. It's
92. Yeah. And so Dansil is a guy in the community. I think he comes mainly from Samurai Revolution and in that kind of sense. And what he does bring is he brings some interesting ideas, some non-standard maps, but good-natured fun, whether to be taken seriously or not. But this map takes a lot of inspiration from the Four Ponds map, which features fairly common in the 1v1 ranked pool of Age of Empires 2. So the map is a land map in the middle, 2 TPs, but there are 4 ponds in each of the corner, holding 2 whales and a couple of fish. But essentially, it's 4 ponds, and water play is an option here. So drawing inspiration from other games, which we like to see, and it's a really good game on good map on Age of Empires 2, and I've heard some positive things so far about this map.
Yeah, I actually enjoy it. Surprisingly, neither of them is going for a TWC Civ, which I think myself are probably the strongest on this map, because again, that Aztec trading post does allow you to get a technology. I think it's for 200 coin, 200 wood, which gives basically 100% HP and 100% attack to your explorers, and the Iroquois war chief gets like an insane amount of HP and a insane amount of attack with it. It's actually pretty ridiculous. But you can see from the spawn here, as you said, 4 different ponds. Each one has 2 whales in it and a number of fish. So each one is, I think, equal in terms of resources. And obviously a 2 TP line and those 2 Aztec trading posts on the left and the right hand side of the map.
Yeah, not really much else to talk about this map. What is I've noticed as well, I think it's map kind of coded, but look how far both the coin mines are away from the town centre, and they're both behind the TC, so it's not, overly, hey, look, my coin mines are in front of the TC, easily raidable, but if you've got some villagers in the coin mine, it will take a while for them to get back to the town centre, and could be a hot spot for cavalry raids in the second age from Tom into Prince of Kabul. Prince will need coin, but they're far away from any garrison points, and we always say that Japan is very strong because it's very hard to raid them, but in this case, those villagers will have to gather away from the town centre and be at risk from any units that Tom wants to push in early on.
Yeah, exactly. Prince scouting resort to Rickshaw. It was a wood start, so there's the construct going down for Prince, which actually is especially good on this map because obviously you can use the export when you age up to get some, I think, 3 boats from construct for 300 export or something. And if we look at Prince's deck, which he has chosen, he does have 3 fishing boats in there, which I think some would argue is probably Japan's best card in Age 1 there. In terms of his deck, otherwise it's pretty standard actually. There from Prince, no 5 fishing boats, no fishing boat upgrades, which is probably the most important thing there. There's probably no chance he's going to go full sea. Luke Tom, surprisingly, does have schooners in his deck, but also has 700 food. I don't know why he has so many food cards in his deck. I don't really rate them myself. Does have a fort in deck, so Callum would be happy as well.
Shout out to Sir Cannon there. The 700 food does make sense for massing units late colonial if you need that extra 5 musk and 5 husk to try and push over one of your opponent, but you wouldn't want to send 700 food as part of your core strategy and build order. Tom may do a Victor Swee and go 700 food, 3 barracks, 3 triple musketeer rush Japan, but I don't think that will work out versus the high player that Prince is, and especially wars, defense, bestiaries, the consulate, Minutemen, Yumi double shipments. So I don't think we'll see some cheese like that from Tom. Water play is one of the play styles which is very encouraged on this map style, but with only 2 TPs, it could be quite easy to go for the stagecoach control as well in the middle map and just essentially just play map control and just play land and forget the ponds exist.
Yeah, the TPs are relatively close to each other, actually. If you look at the differences, normally TP maps, two TPs, and they'd be sort of the either end, like here, and
oh
here.
my God, Tom! Come on, steal it! Yeah.
Oh, what's he stealing? 90 coin. That's 180 coin swing. Actually, that's quite big. Especially seeing as Prince does actually somehow have 235 coin in his coffers, which. I mean, you could build a market and buy wood, which I don't think is too bad as Japan in transition. Luke Tom, by the looks of it, is actually sending a villager forward. I don't know if he's using that just to herd.
Well, he's got 2 actually.
It's 2, so it probably isn't herding. He's going to get spotted by that shrine though if he walks. Where is he going? Oh, he's going for a dock. Okay. One of those villagers is going for a dock, I think, over by this pond.
Yeah.
Which probably will justify him by... He probably goes schooners next. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Although he has a shipment, he's not sending it.
Well, he's dropping a manor house at the moment, but it doesn't have the woods available for a dock, so he scouted out his dock line, but actually can't build a dock at the moment. Manor house does come down, providing there's 2 villagers forward. You often see 2 villagers being used to build a forward barracks and a forward military base, so I think that's what Tom's plan is. He is working on a 160 coin treasure guide by 3 outlaw blowgunners. Crackshot 1, melee down the 2nd. We'll go for the 3rd, but Japan is nearby with Explorer and does scout this. Treasure contention will come in at this point. And actually, we'll see these 2 villagers as well. As soon as Tom ages, he may not want to build a barracks right underneath the nose of the Japan Explorer.
Yeah. Well, actually, those 2 have been spotted by, I think, the shrine anyway. This is quite a big contention. 160 coin. Especially for British, if they're rushing here, is quite significant. I don't know who got that. I think Prince maybe just got it by a nose. Yeah, Prince got it. 160 as a 320 coin flip, which is quite big.
And in Tom's world, that is a lot less musketeers he's going to be able to produce as a result. So, yeah, that is significant. Barracks being thrown down as well. I think Prince may have actually scouted the barracks as he was retreating out. He kind of moved to the right hand side first and then back towards the base. But barracks being thrown down, 2 vills in a nice wall formation between the consulate and the Tashoga Shrine. Currently allied with the Portuguese consulate, he could go for the Portuguese fishing fleet, but could also just go for the Bestieros.
700 food being shipped. He went for the fishing fleet. By the looks of it, just got shipped.
All right. Oh, there they are.
Double Rex, 700 food.
Uh,
I honestly, I think if you're gonna do what he's doing here, double Rex, I think a better thing to do actually is go up with 500 food, and then ship 700 coin, and then you can get a decent spam of units out very very quickly. No third Rex here though, so it's not Victor Swee approved, if you will.
Tom has not been enlightened by the sweet magic.
Yeah, actually, Victor Swee went Huss Abbas versus me the other day and beat me. So, as a guy who plays somewhat unorthodox, he's pretty well known. But Yumi's here are just going to defend very easily against this. Longbows do actually beat Yumi's early on, but by the looks of it, Tom is actually just producing musketeers, and so his Yumi's are just going to tear them to shreds. And I don't think this is really going to do anything this early rush.
Yeah, especially because Japan has 6 fishing boats in the ponds without having to build a dock due to the 3 fishing boat shipments and the Portuguese consulate upgrade. So, Tom's maybe thinking kind of raid his fishing operations, but there's nothing really for him to raid. He is now pushing with musketeers, but that's a big Yumi Archer mass, and Minutemen surely being called from the town centre. There's the pikes, rifles soon to be called. Maybe he clicked the wrong one here, but musketeers, they move in, not really firing, they kind of retreating, and I kind of think it's pretty dire already.
Yeah, this sort of feels game over already, honestly. PrinceofKabul is significantly ahead on eco. Luke Tom doing the 50 mana population at 7 minutes isn't the greatest. He's going to lose his massive units, or at least most of it. And
oh dear, he's not even training any more units to back this up at the moment. He has the macro for musketeers, but he's not actually training. 1 villager now in queue, but I think Luke was frantically pulling and microing his units out of the way of the Yumi Archer fire. But that's a lot of resources to put in for a push, and it to not work. And maybe a couple of Hussars there would have actually really worked. Go for a Huss strategy. But pure Yumi's able to defend that musketeer push.
Yeah, Yumi's doing incredibly well against musketeers, obviously, because they do have that multiplier and they do have extra range 18 compared to 12. And Prince not really going all in here with sort of military population. He's now sending 4 villagers. Did send 600 wood as his first shipment, and also getting a nice amount of upgrades on his units. Now some ashes coming in, which will defend against any hussars which do come out. But there actually is no hussars on the field or any hussars anywhere being built. So and actually Prince shrining now, so Prince a significant amount ahead. He's 72 score on Luke Tom to 90 score for Prince is actually pretty insane. Actually, the difference between that is quite ridiculous. And only a market now going down for Luke Tom. He hasn't had a market this whole time.
Oh wow, that's quite something. But Tom, he's backed out of the all-in musketeer strategy, and he's saving 700 coin. He's going to age up, but he could have done this 2 minutes ago and been in the same situation. But obviously PrinceofKabul significantly behind in his build order, but he's so far ahead in eco, in military, and has the momentum now to send 600 coin and follow Tom up to the Fortress Age, get 6 Yumi Archers out from the Golden Pavilion attack, veteran Yumi Archers, and then send in shipments like Flaming Arrows and Flaming Arrows, maybe with the bow, but even going for a Nagi switch could be really strong. Just go Yumi Nagi. Yumi Ashi, any combination works really well. Just Japan have that flexibility, and the onus is on Tom when he does age up to kind of make the use of his tech advantage. But if Tom pushes in with musketeer combat, veteran musketeers on their own, I will lose my shit.
Yeah, I think that's all he's doing as well. Honestly, I think Prince can sort of make any units he wants to. He could probably age up himself and make Yajimbos or whatever, or Yambusame, and still win because he's so far ahead. It's actually pretty insane. And even then, I mean, if you look at how many units he's lost here, even going 700 food, 6 musketeers, he didn't even get a very nice mass out. He got sort of, what, 15 musketeers out at, I think it was 16 musketeers at sort of
Oh,
7 minutes.
you look at the units lost tab. 1 Yumi archer, 2 pike
17.
sentries, and 17 musketeers. That is 1,700 resources being traded off for about 200, 250 if you count sentries. It's
Yeah, but I think Senchu's what 160 resources, and he's still got 2 of them left.
yeah.
And a Yumi is what, nothing. It's like 100 resources. Yeah, 105 resources. So yeah, Luke not in a great spot. He is up. Does have a shipment ready. Aged with a caravel, but the caravel went in his pond, so
Oh,
it's pointless.
really?
He's going to siege down some shrines, but Prince is just going to push forward here, take down that forward base relatively quickly. Luke not actually shipping a shipment either, even though he's got the ability to do so. Would be funny if he shipped a fort and just sat behind it, but I don't think he's going to do that. Probably going to be shipping 9 musketeers and then 2 falconets. I think is what you want to do here, because you just don't have enough falconets to actually defend anything.
Yeah, so he's now sent that shipment behind this. Military population 17, recalc economic population 30, still 30 villagers. Currently at 61 population in Q. Units in Q does have 4 population, so we're looking at about 10 population being sent. Likely to be 2 falconets being sent to that forward outpost, but that outpost is going down, so that will be going to the town centre. I assume veteran musketeers is in. Yes, it's just coming right now. So it's going to be musketeer, falconet play for Luke Tom. 1 would assume. Could even be 10 longbow or 5 hussars, but falconets make sense here. Falconets have been sent home. Spawn at the hometown centre. Will take its time to cross the map, but now Prince is aging, and Prince is pushing out, but he can very equally and safely pull back and go for the tech advantage here.
Yeah, Prince doesn't need to really push here. He's ahead in eco by double fold, really. Falconets will get a nice shot off here, taking out a couple of Yumis, but really, what does Luke Trump do here? He has to push in now, but once he pushes in, there's going to be another 6 Yumi coming in. There's going to be that Golden Pavilion as well as that Daemio upgrade, which makes those units so strong. And there's just going to be 2 Flaming Arrows coming out, or even something like 590. I think will just secure him the game.
Yeah, he does have that stable coming down, and food and coin being gathered. No wood at the moment, so it looks like he's got the wood available for disciplined Yumi archers, but then going coin for a big batch of Nagis. He's coming up with Japan isolation, so no bestiaries coming out on the field. I'm not too sure he has Bushido principles just yet to enable big batches of units, but he does have about 400 export, which he could spam into Clubman, and basically Clubman, Nagis to rush the enemy units and distract the fire. Yumis can just fire in the back. PrinceofKabul likely to take a crushing victory here, but he's just biding his time, waiting to age up and get that optimal mass out. He could even trade off his Tishoga Shrine. He can see his prey just sat attacking his base, and he's just repositioned his cavalry to the right hand side to move in from behind when he's ready.
Yep, and Prince is up. Obviously, when whatever Prince ships here, it will either be 2 Flaming Arrows or 5 Nankanatas. 2 Flaming Arrows sort of act as culverins versus Falcons, if you will. That Tishoga Shrine will go down, which is quite nice. Cavalry combat coming in. Does Luke Tom even have any cavalry? What?
He doesn't have a stable.
He doesn't even have a stable.
He doesn't have a stable.
He comes minute. Surely they would have 9 musketeers is better to send there. 5 hussars or 10 longbows. All of them are better to send.
Oh, I'm gonna let Luke know that after, because I think he wanted to say must combat, but he's got the wrong one.
Yeah, he doesn't have must combat in deck.
Is he not? Oh my god.
He has musk HP instead of musk attack in deck as well. Yeah. Those Flaming Arrows need to be careful though. You do have to micro them a bit to take them away. They do have 2 extra range. Although by the looks of it, they're going to get some nice shots off on those units. Flaming Arrows aren't the best against musketeers though. Prince, I think he doesn't actually need to care about what's happening here. I think he's just being super safe. That consulate is low HP. He does have 500 export actually as well, which won't get spent. But again, forward,
Oh, it continues, right? It continues.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like a couple of Nikes are just tearing his economy apart. Looked on 90. Oh well, he's got 8 manners at 14 minutes. This is playing a bit like GUA, if you will.
nah. Do not disrespect my boy GUA. He's got better since the last time you two played. He is in the top 16 seed for this tournament, and he's actually playing today or very soon. We may be able to get this that series captured afterwards, but Tom has now lost both his falconets, his musketeers. They've already abandoned the siege weaponry because they thought it's not even worth protecting that, and
And over this time, Luke Tom's had all his villagers in the TC due to a couple of Naggies. Again, no cavalry on the field, so Cav combat not doing anything. I think this is the only game I've ever seen which hasn't actually buffed Cav in the slightest when someone sent Cav combat.
Hold the phone. One Hussar is being trained right now. Oh. Where is that stable? It's at home. He's got a home stable.
9 musketeers out. There you go. Coming forward. But that cavalry Hussar, which was being queued, is no longer being queued. Artillery foundry being built, but what?
He's got no coin. He's got no coin.
He's got no coin, and he's building an artillery foundry. There's a coin mine actually in his base of 2,000 coin, I guess. But Waverbro coming in here. I think Luke Tom is turking a little bit.
There is still way back in. You could get a miracle one Falconet pop and just go through the entire Yumi Archer mass as if it's nothing. Could get a cav raid on his half HP flaming arrow. I believe in Tom. I believe he has the ways back into this game. But I have to say, it is looking very tough at the moment for that to happen. And this caravel has been magnificent, just keeping the seas safe for the British Trade Company flowing their spices into the Guatemala region, but not distracting what Japan's doing on the north side. But I think this is going to be the final engagement. Tom looking to defend his artillery foundry. 2 falconets in queue. These guys take a long time to trade, but 1 flaming arrow sieging behind. That foundry's going down before it pops out, and he's going to lose his musketeer mass, and the GG has been called. So that is the series end there. GG has been called. PrinceofKabul taking this series 3-0, and will be advancing to the round of 16, where his likely round of 16 opponent is Migo/IndieBot1999, who I do see in the chat right now, getting the scouting information of how PrinceofKabul plays on Ceylon and other maps. I'm not too sure what information he's gathered from it, but that matchup though, PrinceofKabul and Migo, I am very looking forward to.